Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This is part two of Grant Warrington, and sorry about the technical difficulty. Zoom, because I'm using the free version, timed out, so we're going to record this in two parts. So we were just talking about growing your business, being partnership with Josh, and really not running away from that is kind of where we were. And I applaud you sort of seeing that as the value add that it is, because this is a people business, and being around people like Josh. Not only going to learn a lot, but he's also going to protect you and make sure you're looking at everything the right way.
Correct. Yeah. He's been very helpful. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now that we sort of have the time and I'm not rushed by this silly clock that was ticking down on my side, let's go back. And I didn't do a great job of telling everyone how you got started, right? We sort of jumped into, you've got a 20 unit value add in Trenton, Michigan. And we talked about that, but so let's go back to how you started, right? When did you get the bug that you wanted to go buy a 20 unit? How'd that conversation go the first time with Monica? Tell us about that.
Well, that's a long story in itself too. So I started out, I think I bought Carlton Sheets, back when I was about 21. Read books, I just knew I was attracted to real estate. I didn't know how to get any of it. But in the early 2000s, they were handing out mortgages. So I decided I'll take three of them. And I got three rental houses. I bought them way too high. Unfortunately, I met someone and I actually bought them off him. And it is what it is. But I kind of got into it and thought that I was going to be the nice landlord. And I was, going to give people breaks at Christmas, and I had all these rosy ideas. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. So in the end, everyone ended up owing me about $5,000 a piece out of those three. I wasn't working at the time. My job is, it's construction.
Yeah.
So I had to give them back. I declared bankruptcy. I didn't lose them. I gave them back to the bank, in the condition I got them. I tried everything I could not to, took a second mortgage out of my personal house, just paid that off a couple of years ago. So I did everything I felt that I could, and, I had to get out of them, unfortunately. So
yeah.
Fast forward,
2000. Let's break that down. So first off, I applaud you for talking about sharing with that. Like you, I invested through this tumultuous sort of 03 up to the peak and, through the crash. I saw people legitimately worth $10 million lose everything in the span of like 9 months. And,
wow.
There were some takeaways, and I actually write about them in my book, right? One of them that I am so big on is no alligators, right? It's such a big deal to me because I saw what happens, right? If the market turns, yep, and you have an alligator, and an alligator obviously is nothing more than a negative cash flow property, or even a marginally positive one. They're going to kill you. They're going to eat your lunch, and yep, it's going to hurt every month. And I don't ever approve doing that, right? And I think there's going to be people that suffer now because I believe we've just left a seller's market, and I think we're rolling over. Now the question is how far, how deep, how many different markets. I get it. But man, if you've been living off appreciation, like a lot of people in the Silicon Valley where I live, man, you're not paying attention, and the alligator came about because a buddy of mine pulled me in his office one time and said, look, I can go buy these 5 properties in Texas or Mississippi or somewhere, and I can afford $1,000 negative. And,
wow,
I'm looking at this going, yeah, sure, you make a lot more than I do, and I get it, but I certainly wouldn't want to cut a check $1,000 for the right to be a happy landlord. I mean, come on. And, that ended the way you thought it would end, right? Same kind of story. At some point, they're worth half as much because the crash happens. You're like, I'm going to stop writing that check because that hurts. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. So don't do it, people. In today's market, I do not care. If somebody offers you a deal, if you find a deal and you want to just get it done to say you got it done and it's negative, run away. Live to fight another day, right? So sorry, I just wanted to peel that back. But go ahead, continue the story.
Yeah, and it's so around 2007, I was done with that, but I knew I was going to get back into it. I knew one day, but in my personal life, I wasn't ready for what happened. But I grew, and looking back, I would never change it. It taught me how to deal with tenants. It taught me how to deal with people, how to deal with negative situations. So I'm glad I went through it. Not tremendously proud that it had to happen, but it's part of my story, so I own it. So I in 2011 made another life-changing decision. I quit drinking with the help of God, thank goodness. And I did that. My life changed dramatically from that point on. I met my wife in 14. She had a dream of owning a 10-unit apartment building. And we, both pooled our money together. We bought one, and then we went, uh-oh, now what? How are we going to buy another one? We got stuck. She moved in with me. That was our second rental, was her condo. So now we're at two, but we couldn't save up enough money. So I decided to go to a meeting, which, like you say, I mean, you got to get out there and talk to people. So she wasn't feeling the best that night, so I went on my own. And that's another thing. I mean, whether it's with someone or on your own, just go and do it and meet people.
Yeah.
I went to this meeting, and there was a young kid sitting there with the hoodie on, and there was about 20 people standing around him, older people that looked successful. And I thought, who is this young kid? I need to meet him.
Yeah.
And turns out it was Josh. It was my boss now. And him and I went out for coffee, and he kind of told me what I need to do to move on. I need to get some properties and free and clear, and I need to get a blanket loan. And then, that's the refi, to refi 3 of my properties, get a check and buy more property with it, basically. So that was growth. I had to grow. I had to, because at that time, my mindset was I pay cash for everything. I wasn't going to get in debt again. I wasn't going to do that to myself. So I made a decision. General Motors has debt, right? Ford, all of these, Microsoft, they have debt and they use it, right? It's leverage. I needed to look at it a different way. And I did, and it just clicked, like, okay, if I do what I'm supposed to, run these numbers, and it makes sense, that's leverage. I'm not putting myself in the past situation. So we decided to do that. We did, like a lot of people, we got some personal loans. We got some 0% interest credit cards. We bought houses with that. And then we did the blanket loan, and we paid that crazy stuff off. So that's how we were able to grow. We got to 11 units in 2 years, I think. Nice. 2.5. But I also did some things. We made some commitments. We cut our spending. I sold my truck, I sold my boat, and I sold my pool table to put down a down payment on a side-by-side duplex in Wyandotte. Nice. Wyandotte, Michigan, which is a great little city. And I made some commitments. Those are things I loved and I thought I'd always keep. But what's more important? My financial future is more important. So I gave those things up, and we still own that house, and it cash flow.
So again, man, you're just dropping bombs left and right. So again, I talk about in the book and all the time about, I call it good defense, right? Most of life, people talk about good offense, make a lot of money, flash cash, look at all the toys I have. It's nonsense, people. It's not the way to go. Make the sacrifice, be like Grant and Monica. And, it's hard, right? You had these things and you gave them up because you knew what the right thing to do. And owning that duplex that's cash flowing, putting your money in your pocket every time, giving you tax benefits, indexed for inflation, it's going to make you so much more money and wealthy in the long term. It's what you have to do, and why you're going to be successful, because you're willing to make the hard choices. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So I think having your story and owning it, awesome. Stop drinking, awesome. Giving up the truck, the boat, the pool table, love that. It's going to be so good for you. So we talked about, that's your story, what you've been busy. Anything more you want to talk about the future? Sort of, is it just the syndication going big, going 100 units and above? Do you have a goal, right? Do you and Monica have a goal that, you want to get to X in 3 to 5 years? Do you think that way?
We do. We have some personal goals. We have, right now it's basically what are we going to do to get me to a point where I can make a decision to actually do this full time or not. And that just have more of a comfort level is kind of what we're looking for. But we have big dreams, big goals. Like I said, the next one, we're looking to do 100 or more. Unless something comes up, right around this neighborhood, another 20 unit that we could, handle right in our backyard, that wouldn't be a big deal at all to pick that up. So I'm not really limiting what we're looking for, but we're real excited about the future and what it holds. Just how they say when you get your first, things really open up. And within this week, I've really had some opportunities that, just even with you asking me to do this podcast, that without this building, we might not be having this conversation. We probably wouldn't.
Probably not.
We had 6 units before this, so it's really amazing when you do it. But again, this took years.
Yeah.
This was a 3-year process from when I talked to that inspector to close. So like you say, you got to put one foot ahead of the other every day. And that's what we did. And it didn't seem like we were doing things. And it was discouraging, really discouraging for me. I see a lot of growth at work, and it took its toll at points, but luckily I have my wife to really balance me out. But I think you hit it right on the head, though. You just need to get out there, meet people, and the rest will work itself out as long as you're moving forward.
No, I couldn't say it myself. The one thing I'll give you, because we're both conservative, is we actually lived. So we got to a point where we thought we could retire my wife first. She was first. She made less money. So what we did is actually we lived for a year, like her income didn't exist. We just peeled it off, put it in an entirely different savings account that nobody saw.
Nice.
And we wanted to see if, because life happens, right? Like, sure. The car broke or, whatever. And, we successfully did that for 12 months. And, 2 things happened. Once we proved we could do it. Second, we had a big savings, right? So honey, you can be done now, right? Worst case, we just bleed off your savings. If you need to go back, you'll go back. But that's something I recommend, because that's often a tough call, right? Am I ready? Yeah. Is it enough? Do you have to go a year that way? Probably not. 6 months for sure, though.
Sure.
Right. So play with that when you start to get to that point. Like, if you or your wife, it's like, all right, let's not rush into this, because you don't want to risk the entire empire by being out too early, right? Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's great advice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I want to make sure we give you a chance to share anything you would like with the audience here. To talk about the property management company, in case there's anybody looking for property management in your area. Talk about what you're looking for syndication. If anybody wants to talk to you about what you've seen, go for it. The floor is yours.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's the property management company that I work for is Epic Property Management in Southeast Michigan. And our personal property management company is Property Professionals, and we don't manage for others. Epic does, though, and you can go to epicpropertymanagement.com. It's not just because I work there, but it's a great management company. The owner owns real estate. That's what you want. You want somebody who owns real estate that's going to manage your properties. As for us, I'm bluerockcapital.net. You can go to our website and get a little bit more information on us. You can get a little bit more of our story at our website at bluerockcapital.net. And or you could also email me at grant@bluerockcapital.net. I like talking with people. I like trying to add value. I like talking to people who are just getting started. My advice is, like I've said and you said here, get out there, meet people, go to meetings and do what they say. You're going to get a lot of very smart people who are successful that will tell you how to become successful. Now, it's up to you whether or not you want to follow what they say. I did. I just did what I was told. He said, do these 5 things. I did them. And I didn't bother him until they were done. I mean, I really didn't want to feel like I was wasting his time. Time's valuable, and I knew that. So I would accomplish those things, and then I would say, hey, I'm growing. Now I got a little bit bigger problem. As you grow, you get bigger problems. So that's what I would do, and which is great things. So that would be my suggestion. But keep moving forward. I would tell people, and buy one rental.
Yeah.
Buy a rental.
Going from 0 to 1 is without question the hardest part.
Correct.
0. So a couple of things in closing, just to kind of wrap on what you did there. A lot of people that I talk to are on the coasts. They think the coasts are expensive and they're looking to invest elsewhere. First off, if you happen to be in the area where Epic Property Management works or manages, I would suggest looking them up, because you can go back and look at some of my videos from months ago. And the number one thing I tell you about a property management firm is the principal has to be an investor. And that's what Epic is, given the story. Now, let's be clear. I don't know Josh. I don't know Epic. I don't know Michigan real estate. But again, if you go back and look at my videos about how to find a good property manager, the number one thing I tell you is the principal owns rentals. So that's what I heard here. So that's a great idea. Also, if you're looking to invest in Michigan, you have Grant's contact details. I'd give him a call, because let me tell you, all parts of Detroit, proper and surrounding areas are not equal. And if you're coming from the coasts and you see a $30,000 house or a $60,000 house and just your eyes pop out of your head, probably not a good idea just to write that offer. You're going to need some boots on the ground. So reach out to Grant and see what you guys can do there. So I want to thank you, Grant. Make sure Monica watches this, because she got plenty of shouts out.
For sure.
Nice job, Monica. Woohoo! Keep them grounded.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just want to thank you for your time. This has been a lot of fun for me, Grant. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Zuba. I appreciate it, man.
You got it. Take care.